on this computer. Okay, this meeting is now being recorded. Give me 1 second and I will share. All right. Okay, hopefully everybody can see this.
Yes.
So this is the outline that Ebony and I started with information on what we're going to present. And it keeps growing, Ebony.
I know.
Have you guys
it's really growing.
Have you guys decided how you're going to do it, how you're going to present it other than a PowerPoint?
Well, initially, let's see, we had talked about Ebony taking the first bullet point here, or the first section here, the why educate, and then who knows what the future holds, and then I would do creativity in schools. But then I see that she added a few more, so I don't know.
So I'm okay to take some things off. That doesn't bother me at all. For me, I'm a big picture person. So for me, I needed to put it all there and we can delete what we don't want. I'm okay with that.
Or rearrange.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm perfectly fine with that. I think to answer your question, Taisha, that we probably will just do a PowerPoint and then talk about this stuff. I don't know. What do you think, Ebony?
I'm okay with that. I think we as a group need to just figure out the order in which we want to do things. Do we want to do the PowerPoint first? Do we want to do the activities first?
Well, I know that I'm going to do an activity on creativity. I think because we met at 6 to kind of, well, not the whole group, but we were just talking about it. And I'm guessing after like each point, like each important point, that we can maybe like stop and do an activity like in between the talking. So it won't be just like a long PowerPoint, like split it up, like maybe an activity like throughout the PowerPoint. Cause I know I'll have an activity for creativity. So like after creativity is, done being discussed, that's when I was going to do the activity, like have the activity line up with like, I guess the big topic of, the PowerPoint. Okay. Like do activities throughout the PowerPoint so it won't be just like so much talking, because I know she said, to try to get away from just, just reading out the PowerPoint, those type of presentations. So in order to, make it more, interesting, kind of do an activity like throughout the talking with the PowerPoint.
So at this point, we have a week, 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Would you feel like it would be best for Kim and I to go ahead and put the PowerPoint together, and then you all can see where you want to insert your activities?
Mm-hmm.
Or
that's fine. Like I said, my activity is going to be on creativity. I'm not sure how we want to split up the activities, but I know I have a few activities for specifically creativity. So I know I will go after the creativity or before it. It doesn't matter.
Can I ask a question real quick, Taisha? Mm-hmm. The activities that you're talking about, would you say that they take up a lot of time, or are they maybe some that are shorter?
I have a few. I haven't decided which one, but it won't be, it won't be the activity. It'll be something they're either making or something that's interactive. It won't be like a long activity. I say no more than 15 minutes, if that.
So we have 45 minutes for this. I do not feel like the presentation should be the bulk of it. I feel like the activities should be the bulk of it. The presentation, if we allotted maybe 10 to 15 minutes for the presentation, and
That's fine.
the rest of it being activities.
That's a good 30 minutes for an activity. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. And I mean, if we all do an activity, I'm not sure, you know, what, I'm trying to get my chat back up. I'm not sure what you had in store, Latasha. I'm not sure if you had been looking at stuff, but that'll be fine too. I mean, I know Mitzi. I'm fine with whatever y'all. Whatever. I think that's a good idea.
So I thought that Latasha was going to do the handout.
Handout, yes.
Okay, you're doing the handout. I got it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, okay, I'm sorry. So it's me, and then Kim and Ebony. You guys are gonna do the presentation. Hope is doing the. Okay, so I'm the only one here for the activity. So
Yeah, I can't remember her name. I just know that she works at Gordon State.
yeah, Mitzi is doing
And Mitzi.
and then the I
Victoria.
can't remember. Okay.
Victoria.
Okay, and Victoria's doing the activity too. So I didn't know whether or not we were all gonna each. I don't know if we have time to each person do an activity, or we just wanted to do 2 activities. I mean, we were supposed to meet at 6, but nobody showed up. So I don't really.
So I think that we would have adequate time to do 2 or 3 activities. It's just a matter of making sure that they fit the flow of what's going to go on. Because otherwise, we still got to cover 45 minutes of time.
Yeah.
Well, Taisha and I were talking earlier because I came in at 6 o'clock just to start the meeting, and I was explaining to her, I think would be a good segue into an activity is if I talk about creativity and creativities in school, and focus on this part right here where in the book they talk about how part of interrupting the creative process is telling students that they get the right answer, that it's okay to be wrong. And I have a little story here about Jackson Pollock. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he was an artist, and he actually made a mistake. I don't know if you guys know who Jackson Pollock is, but he did abstract art, and it's kind of interesting because it looks like, you know, scribble scrabble. Okay, his art does. It's this kind of stuff right here, you know. But this isn't the one. It was the 17A painting that he did, and it was actually kind of a mistake, and it ended up selling to a private collector for over $200 million.
Okay.
So my point is, you know, what I want to kind of tell people is, you know, it's very much okay to make a mistake, that's, you know, that is part of the creative process. And so Taisha and I were talking about, you know, maybe she could do some kind of activity, and she had some ideas about activities where, you know, the participants are in groups and they don't all make the same thing, but everybody's is as good as the other person's.
Yeah, the activity that I will have, it most definitely will be interactive. They will be doing something, building something. We have Science Olympia coming. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Science Olympia. Olympiad. I'm not gonna see if I'm saying it correctly, but it's all about creativity and it goes along with science. I mean, if we each do a 10-minute activity, that's 30 minutes. Like if all 3 of us each do a 10-minute activity, that's 30 minutes. I'm just trying to kind of lay it out so that.
Are you talking about you, Mitzi, and Victoria?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we can open with an activity, do an activity somewhere in the middle, and close with an activity.
Yeah.
And then Kim and I can just kind of decide, and Kim, maybe you and I need to kind of talk, because when you were just talking through, then that's a lot of the stuff that I just added. So we can kind of talk through and see exactly kind of where our thought process is, so we can kind of streamline this.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go after you, Kim, around the creativity part. So I'm not sure if that's gonna be the middle or the end. I see that it's like in the middle. So that's when I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the creativity.
So I'm not sure who's doing the opening activity, but whoever does the opening activity, maybe it should be really open-ended
Yeah,
so that it leads into the presentation.
yeah.
If it can be something really open-ended, it can lead into the presentation. We'll try to introduce it, get down to the part where Kim talks about creativity. Taisha, you do your creativity activity. We'll talk through the rest of it, and someone do a closing activity.
Yeah.
That brings it all together.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And we're focusing on creativity, but also problem solving. So your activities could be both or either.
Creativity and problem solving. Okay. That sounds good. I guess
The activity you talked about where people had to put themselves in order by their birthday but not say anything, that's a great problem solving activity, and it probably won't take but about 10 minutes.
Yeah, that was one of my,
and maybe that's something we can open with.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's a good activity.
And then we could talk about the fact that there was not one right way to do it. We could have them talk about, how did you solve this problem? How did you go about getting over the hurdles that were involved in this? So the hurdle is that you can't speak, or how would you do it differently, or how could you make it better, and then go into our presentation.
Okay, now I can start off with the opening activity. I mean, it doesn't, and then maybe somebody else can do at the middle and the end if you want to do it that way. Because I did find that activity online. I was going to research, more into it to kind of get some guiding questions, that we can ask afterwards, So I can open up with that one if because that was one of my favorite activities that I found.
Yeah. I think the activity folks can, I guess they can decide, who does what, when, and where.
I like that idea, Ebony. I'll go ahead and say I'll open up with that activity if it's okay with you three, and I guess everybody else can.
I'm not an activity person, but I have an activity that my dean did to start off one of our staff meetings. And what she had us do, we each had a sheet of paper, but we had to close our eyes. And as she was giving directions, like she would say, tear part of the right corner off of the paper, and she would give directions, but the whole time we had to have our eyes closed. So the point was, at the end, after she gave all the directions, tear this hole, put a dot over here, everybody opened their eyes and looked at everybody else's paper, and everybody's paper was different, even though they heard the same instructions, but I guess they interpreted it differently.
I like that activity too. What's the name of that one? Like the name of it? I may have to just Google it.
I will have to ask my dean what the name of it was.
As a closing activity, we could do this activity I know called, I think it's called Strings, and it's where you take a spool of yarn, and the original person holds the end of it, and you say something about yourself or something, and then you toss it to someone who says that they agree with you on that remark. So you might say, I have, just to make it simple, brown eyes, and then someone who agrees with you, you have to toss it to them, and they have to say something, and then whoever agrees with them, they toss it. So eventually the string it's cross-sectioning throughout the circle. And the point of the activity is we all have similarities, but many of us also have differences.
I like that.
That's good.
Yeah, and that will
that's a good closing activity.
That is a good closing, and that kind of reiterates that creativity is individual.
It is.
It's not,
that's
right. I can find the directions and post the directions to Google Share for that activity.
Okay. All right. So
I'm not trying to take over the activity.
Yeah, but that activity sums up everything though, because like you said, I mean, it's putting the whole book together. Students are different, we're all teaching them, they're just one way, and that's the whole point of the book. So, I mean, I know you're not trying, I know we're missing two people, but, that's a good suggestion activity. I do like that.
That's a closing, yes.
Yeah.
That kind of wraps it all up.
It wraps it all up.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we have a suggestion for the opening activity, and I like that activity too, that your dean did. I guess I just really need to get with the other two activity people and just kind of see. When you get with your dean, can you email me those instructions?
Yes, I will.
And I guess I need to reach out to Mitzi and Victoria, because I think we need to really meet to kind of get this, decide on the activities. We really need to meet.
I can send you guys this recording as soon as we're finished here, so they can review that, Mitzi and Victoria.
I'll also share the directions for the strings activity if y'all want that in a Google Doc so that everybody can see it.
Yeah.
And then Kim, can you and I set up a time to get together to clean up this outline that I have made a mess of?
It looks really good, you guys.
It looks very good.
Yeah, it looks really good, and it's very detailed.
So when can I plan to start working on the handout after? When do you all think you all would be done with the
PowerPoint?
The PowerPoint, yes, the presentation part.
Ebony, do you maybe think by Thursday?
I can do it by Thursday because I feel like this outline was the hard job. And so now it's just taking it, putting it in a PowerPoint.
Right.
I can say by Thursday, yes.
So Latasha, we'll have it to you by Thursday.
Okay, so I guess I need to reach out to Mitzi and Victoria as soon as we get done, and we need to schedule a Zoom, like ASAP, to go ahead and decide on the activities. It looks like we may have two already. I'll talk to Mitzi and Victoria to see if they have anything different. So moving forward, what do you guys think our next steps should be? I know I need to get with Victoria and Mitzi as soon as possible. Any next steps, or moving forward, what do you guys think that we need to do next?
Kim and I'll have the PowerPoint by Thursday, but can we all get together on Zoom again maybe this time next Sunday so that we can put all the pieces together before we get to class on Thursday?
Okay, is next Sunday Easter?
Oh, it is. Oh, there's somebody. There's Mitzi.
Yeah, next Sunday is Easter. So, I'm free that afternoon. I know.
I'm free that evening, or I'm free any evening coming up to class with exception of Monday. Mondays are not good for me.
Okay. Well, I work every night from 7 to 11. So weekends will be best for me unless it's before 7. Hey Mitzi, we were just talking about the activities. So we decided that, can you hear me, Mitzi? Are you there?
Mitzi, can you hear us?
I was trying to make sure she could hear. Can you hear us now, Mitzi?
I can. I'm so sorry I'm late. I'm here. Sorry.
It's okay. I just wanted to talk to you. We were just discussing some activities.
Okay.
And we decided that, we wanted the activities to kind of be the bulk of the presentation.
Okay.
And we, wanted to, make it as interactive as possible. And we said that we would do an activity, open up with an activity, do an activity in the middle, and a closing activity.
Okay.
We came up with a few activities, but I don't know what you already had. We said that the opening activity would kind of be something that would kind of introduce our whole presentation. We talked about the activity where, everybody gets in line by their birthday month without talking. That
Okay.
can, open up the presentation. And then Ebony had a good closing activity that kind of summed up the whole book. She was going to send me the activity out, but I wasn't sure what you and Victoria had already had as far as the activities.
Sure.
We said 10 minutes a piece, right? Like a 10-minute, 3 10-minute activities.
Yes, I think that's what we said.
So
And I
that's
believe that's
10
about
minutes
15 minutes for the presentation.
So,
Okay.
but I didn't know what you had already, you know.
Sure. Let me share it with you. This is just one suggestion. If you don't like it, I'm glad to go back and think of some others. But
Go ahead.
but okay. But so it's basically a game where you would put the name of like a celebrity on your back, like a piece of paper, I'm sure y'all played this before, like Mickey Mouse or something on your back.
Mm-hmm.
And the person has to ask you questions to help you figure out who you are.
I've seen.
So and I know that we can't do Mickey Mouse, obviously. So I was thinking about putting a twist on that. And I'm glad to think this through as well if you guys like it. But maybe the topic on the back would be something related to the book or related to something that we discussed in the presentation. I can brainstorm that part of it, but it would be a way for us to be interactive, get up, walk around, maybe even talk to somebody you haven't talked to before and learn something about the book. So that was my thought.
Middle activity.
Oh, sure. That's fine.
What you think, Ebony?
I think that would be a fine middle activity related to the book. But I think if we do that, we may need to do like a word bank for people to have something to choose from.
Yeah.
Sure.
We're the only 6 that have read the book.
Correct.
Yeah, you're
Great.
right.
Great. Okay. And I can do a slide screen and or just one part on the presentation that I could put the words on the big screen. So at least people can refer to the big screen for the word bank instead of a piece of paper with words on it.
Right.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
With the group? Okay.
Yeah, that way we will have one activity that does relate, specifically to the book.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. And we just have to talk to Victoria.
Okay.
Because I really like that activity that you just said, Ebony. I think that should be our closing activity. The one about the string. I like that one. Maybe if Victoria agrees, she can do the closing, or it doesn't matter. She can do the.
I'm gonna send it to y'all, and y'all just let me know if you don't want to use it. It won't hurt my feelings.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, and look, I don't mind owning the one that I just said, if that's what you're asking for. Yeah. I know I'm coming in late, so I'm so sorry.
No,
but if you want me to own it, I'll
good middle activity. I think that'll be a good middle activity.
Okay, so just do that and have that ready as far as for what you want from me.
Yes, please.
Okay, no problem.
And so just to kind of bring you up to speed, what we had said is that Kim and I will have the PowerPoint together by Thursday. Now, it may be 11:59 on Thursday.
I understand.
It'll be on Thursday.
Okay.
And if you all will make sure your activities are good to go. So Taisha's going to have the opening activity, and she's going to take care of that. Mitzi, you'll have the middle activity and take care of that. And then Victoria can do the closing activity and take care of that. As a suggestion, I'm going to upload the directions for the strings activity. But if y'all decide on a different closing, it's fine. And then Latasha, you're going to do the handout.
Yes.
And then we're going to all get back together.
The opening activity, the suggestion that I had for my dean.
And I'll just send me that one, and then I'll look at the one. Because I just read over that one about getting in order by your birthday. So I'll just decide out of those two. If you can just send me that one, and then I can decide which one I would like to open up with.
Okay.
And can I ask too, if you guys have words that you want to use for the word bank? I'm more than glad to put whatever the group wants to do, or I can make them up on my own. And then, actually, I'll create the word bank from the outline. Is that okay? From the outline that was prepared?
That'll be good.
Yes, that works fine for me.
Okay, instead of doing something random that wasn't mentioned at all, I guess.
Right.
Okay, and then I was...
No, go ahead.
Wondering how many people there are in the class. So we probably need a word for every person.
There's about 25. We'll put just a few people over. I counted last time, and I think it was something like 21. But just in case, 25 would be a safe number.
Okay, and the last thing I was going to ask, I don't mind if we want to give like a little prize away. I don't know, maybe the first person to guess who they are. I'm just brainstorming here. I don't mind getting a $5 gift card to Starbucks. I mean, it would be small, but I'll get it.
So the activity, nobody will go one at a time. It'll be like a partner thing.
Yeah, you kind of. Yeah, well, if you play it like the way it's played, like I said, a party, you're all mingling and walking around, and you're going up to people, and you're trying to figure out what is this word on your back, basically.
Okay.
So they can ask you questions, and they might look at it. So you are kind of learning a new word.
Yeah. Okay, I get it. Like a mingle. Okay.
Yeah, kind of mingling. Yeah, you're up and walking around.
Okay.
I'm sorry, my dogs have bad manners and they're barking. I don't know if you can hear them. I apologize for
That's
that.
okay, because my children are having a free for all. I'm not
I think
ashamed.
maybe they're playing with my dogs. I don't know, but because there's a party going on in there for sure.
No.
I just, just want to be sure that, we stick to our time limit. And so remember that these activities, if we're going to do 3 of them, it can only be 10 minutes.
Yeah, we'll have to set the timer. Somebody will have to set the timer on their phone. I mean,
Well, I think though too will be safe because we were planning for 45 minutes. But then like last class time she came back and said, 45 minutes to an hour.
Oh, really?
gosh.
So, but let's just plan for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
We'll be fine.
If we spend 10 minutes for each part, I kind of did the timeout, like activity 1, the opening activity, 10 minutes, part 1 of the presentation, and then part 2, it equals up to 50 minutes.
Yeah.
For each one. 10, 20, 30, 50 minutes.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
Or when we get back together, for that final thing, if we're gonna do that, then we can kind of talk through it and get a good feel for the time.
So, when are we gonna are we gonna set a date to where we meet again, or where are we? Or
I'm perfectly fine meeting next Sunday evening, if that's what you guys want to do, or any other day. I can certainly set the Zoom meeting whenever you want. Why they're kicking up a fuss back there.
Sunday evening is fine for me about this time.
okay, so next Sunday at 7.
yes, that works.
7 works for me
This
best.
time, yes.
Okay, next Sunday at 7.
Yes.
Latasha, is that a good time?
Yes, Sunday at 7 is good for me.
Sunday 7's fine. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Sunday 7's fine. Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Oh, Kim, when do you want to get together about this outline?
It's up to you. I'm free every night this week, or can be free. So,
Well, you just email me your phone number. I think we can do it easily over the phone, or I'll email you mine. Either one.
look it up. Can do.
Okay. All righty. Okay.
Thank you.
Talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye, everybody.